So, NASCAR drivers have been on probation for over a month after receiving penalties. One of the hardest hit is Denny Hamlin, but he has a supportive buddy in Kyle Busch. Recently, Kyle has been questioning NASCAR rules because he believes a simple change could improve safety for everyone, especially for drivers like Denny, who have been injured due to risky driving. If you want to stay informed on NASCAR news, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Returning to Denny Hamlin's situation, his appeal for suspension got turned down, leading to renewed discussions about the NASCAR rulebook. Kyle Busch is seeking clarity on the rules, since he has been thinking about the whole situation. During a press conference on April 8th, Kyle Busch brought up the rulebook and Hamlin's appeal. He expressed confusion about whether making physical contact with another car could result in more than just a fine due to inconsistencies in the rulebook. Drivers find it challenging to know what is allowed and what is not, making it difficult to police themselves and take action when someone does something wrong. Kyle asked, "How can we do that if we don't know what's allowed?" Although he seemed emotional about the matter, it was understandable. One example of inconsistency is when Joey Logano intentionally crashed into William Byron at Darlington Raceway in 2023 and faced no penalties. On the other hand, Denny Hamlin received a penalty for doing the same thing to Ross Chastain at Phoenix Raceway. These are only two recent cases, but there are many others. The big question is whether Kyle Busch's proposed change will make a difference, and what should be done next. Follow the story and see how it unfolds. Busch suggested a solution to deal with aggressive moves on the track, while other ideas have surfaced on how to make road courses and other tracks less dangerous. Kyle pointed out that regional short-track racing series could be a good example for NASCAR. If there's a crash on the track, all cars involved would be sent to the back of the pack. If a driver spins out someone or themselves, they would have to move back. Kyle stated, "Take the example from COTA. They started at 48th and got up to 99th. So if you want to go from 48th to 1st, who do you dock points from? It's everyone's responsibility. All drivers involved in the incident should get back in line. This is how we teach competitiveness to 7-year-olds. We should be able to instill the same values in 18 or 19-year-olds that we did in those aged 7 and 8 by convincing them that cheating is wrong and that they should race fairly. We should be able to figure this out." Hamlin's been through the appeals process many times and knows the importance of being clear. In his April 8th speech, he talked about why his appeal was denied and how he presented his case. Hamlin expressed his frustration that the appeals panel rejected the evidence he provided about his interaction with Chastain. Although he saw the similarities, he ultimately called the decision a bitter pill to swallow. Hamlin's had multiple appeals because of his ongoing issues with Chastain, which started during the 2022 Cup Series playoffs and most recently happened at Phoenix Raceway. The NASCAR governing body announced a suspension for William Byron, one of the sport's most talented drivers, following an incident that took place at the Texas Motor Speedway in September. The race, which attracted a large crowd of enthusiastic fans, was marred by an unsportsmanlike act committed by Byron. During a caution, he intentionally made contact with Denny Hamlin's car, causing the number 11 vehicle to spin out of control. NASCAR officials responded swiftly to this act, imposing a hefty fine of $50,000 on the number 24 team and docking 25 driver points and 25 owner points. The decision was made after careful review of video footage, statements from both drivers, and analysis from race officials. In a post-race interview with NBC Sports, Byron admitted to intentionally hitting Hamlin's car as retaliation for the number 11 car pushing him up against the wall during the race. However, Byron insisted that he did not mean to catch Hamlin off guard and cause him to lose control of his vehicle. In response to the ruling, Hendrick Motorsports, the organization behind the number 24 team, filed an appeal with NASCAR to reconsider the penalties. The appeals process included a thorough examination of the incident, as well as a review of similar cases in the past. After careful deliberation, the appeals panel decided to uphold the original $50,000 fine, but in a surprising twist, they opted to reinstate all 25 points that were initially taken away from both the drivers and owners standing. The decision left Denny Hamlin feeling perplexed and frustrated, as he expressed in an April 11th press release. "I still don't understand the ruling considering all of the examples of precedent and even the real data that I brought to the table. The confusion stems from the fact that previous incidents of a similar nature had resulted in more severe penalties for the drivers involved, leading many to question the consistency of the appeals panel's decision-making process. The lack of progress in addressing this issue has been disheartening for both fans and drivers alike, as it raises questions about NASCAR's standards and values. The racing community has been left wondering whether the governing body is doing enough to ensure fair competition and protect protect the integrity of the sport. This incident has not only cast a shadow on the reputations of both Byron and Hamlin, but has also exposed the need for more consistent enforcement of the rules and regulations that guide professional motorsports. As the dust settles on this controversial event, the racing world will be watching closely to see how NASCAR addresses the concerns raised by this incident. It remains to be seen whether this event will serve as a catalyst for change within the sport, or whether it will simply fade into the background as another example of the complicated and often controversial world of professional racing. Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott, these two drivers have been at each other's throats more than once, unlike Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. In an effort to defend himself, Hamlin recently brought up a past incident involving Elliott. Let's take a trip down memory lane to Martinsville in 2017. Elliott was close to winning his first NASCAR Cup Series race, but Hamlin, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, had different plans. A collision between the two sent Elliott crashing into the barrier. This incident intensified their rivalry, which according to Hamlin's recent statements is very much alive. Denny Hamlin opened up about his efforts to fight a $40,000 penalty from the Chase Elliott incident. In an episode of the Actions Harmful podcast, he explained that it was a collision, not a simple matter. He provided plenty of evidence to show that it wasn't race manipulation. Hamlin even joked about Elliott, knowing it might stir up some controversy. He later apologized, not wanting to lose any fans over the incident. Hamlin also mentioned the 2021 Bristol race, where Elliott and Kevin Harvick tangled. Elliott, who had a flat tire, blocked Harvick for the entire race, allowing Kyle Larson to win. Larson eventually won the Cup Series title that season. Hamlin recounted a telling anecdote that revealed the intricacies of race dynamics. He, Elliott, intentionally blocked the number 4 car, or Harvick, in a bid to secure a win for his teammate. This incident highlighted the need for a clear definition of what constitutes unfair manipulation on the racetrack, and it was during a conference in January Hamlin gained a deeper understanding of the issue. The presenters at the event argued that defining race manipulation as any action in which the manipulator unfairly benefits themselves or their team was crucial to maintaining the integrity of the sport. This insight led to the inclusion of the definition in the official rules to prevent any potential abuse. Hamlin, as the co-owner of the 2311 racing team, was understandably frustrated when he was falsely accused of manipulation, and his appeal was subsequently rejected. His mounting temper was exacerbated by NASCAR's sudden and seemingly arbitrary actions. During the appeals process, NASCAR unveiled a bombshell that would significantly impact Hamlin's case. The ruling body announced a rule change that rendered the Florida driver's strategic appeal useless. According to the new regulations, if the original penalty was deemed lawful, the penalty imposed by an appeal could not invalidate all of the reductions that had been granted. Furthermore, the allowed range for reductions had to fall within a specified minimum and maximum limit. This unexpected turn of events left the JGR driver feeling justifiably frustrated and disillusioned with the process. Please share your thoughts on the video in the comments below. Don't miss our upcoming video, where we'll explore the world of motorsports, race strategies, and maintaining fairness and integrity in the sport. Your participation and feedback are crucial as we continue to bring you the latest news and insights from the racing world.